Kyle Hamilton got the bag, and the Ravens have a lot of big decisions to make over the next year. We're exploring all of that today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup.
It's a great day for your bank account to have the first name Kyle, but not have the last name Crabbs.
Oh, wow. When did you come up with that?
Just now.
Wow. Wow, I think we've had a show. I think we've had a show.
And that's going to do it for us here today on the program. We're out of here.
Downhill from here,
Yeah, somebody named Kyle got, I guess it's the end of the month. It was remittance day yesterday, so I technically did get paid too.
You're right. Same. Wasn't as much as Kyle
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Look like Kyle Hamilton's. I'll just say that.
No.
And he put pen to paper yesterday. So Eric DeCosta said yesterday, I like to work in the dark. And he was not kidding, because most of the time, like, agreed to terms gets announced, and then it's 2 or 3 days later, the player shows up and the picture comes out and they're on the desk and they're looking up and smiling with the thing in the back and the piece of paper from Baltimore does these like the same day. It's like, it's done. You've agreed to terms, but you're at my desk to sign. And Kyle Hamilton signed a 4-year, $100.4 million contract extension with $82 million in practical guarantees, Joe.
Healthy.
Do you know what the next highest amount of practical guarantees on a safety contract was before Kyle Hamilton got 82?
I do, because I prepared for this conversation.
Antoine Winfield Jr. And how much was it?
45.
So almost twice as much, right? The annual average of 25.1 clears the previous high at safety by $3.6 million. Draft Dudes do math. It was Kirby Joseph at 21.5. And that signed earlier this year.
Pause.
Yes.
Our names are associated with the highest paid safeties in the NFL. This is significant. Kirby Joseph
and Kyle.
Wow.
Hamilton.
Wow. If you want your child to grow up to be
yesterday too, huh?
Wow.
Or I don't think we're getting any royalties for the dad jokes on the show.
No, but you can't resist them. You can't resist them.
What really struck me, and I understand, like, the precedent for this contract as far as safeties go was Derwin James, where the cap inflation version. I had somebody who reached out to me yesterday. I wrote a story for A to Z about the Hamilton contract, and I was like, they really, for the scale of safety contracts that exist right now, Baltimore had to make a whole new pay scale for Kyle Hamilton, which they really didn't when you compare him to cornerback contracts, but we can get into that in just a minute. It was the Derwin James cap inflation is like the equivalent of what Kyle Hamilton is getting here and now. But I don't think it's a coincidence that Kyle Hamilton lands at 25.1 annual average, which would make him the third highest paid corner in football. They snuck him in directly in front of J.C. Horn, who got 25 on the dot from an annual average on new money. The guaranteed at signing, Joe, would be number 2 amongst corners in the NFL. And it is $0.03 million behind Derek Stingley Jr.'s. It's nearly equal to the most guaranteed at signing for a cornerback contract. The practical guarantees rank third amongst NFL corners behind Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner. That's it. And that's where I think the big win for Kyle Hamilton is in this landscape is he didn't get paid like a safety. He got paid like a defensive back. And he got paid very competitively like a defensive back, only making concessions to those two market resets that happen at premier outside corners. That's it. He's third on the list.
It's a little bit like the Antoine Winfield deal when that came through, which was a big reset at the time. And it was very much defensive back, right, as opposed to just safety, which, hey, do what you can to get as much as you can. And obviously that worked out. So you went through and you laid out the numbers and really kind of made it very real, the commitment that was made to Kyle Hamilton. Let's talk vibes, though. Let's talk, like, how do you feel? And I want to phrase this to you. Yes, and I want to phrase this to you in a very specific way.
Okay.
You were big on Kyle Hamilton. Big, right? Like number one. Right.
And my class that year.
And obviously that journey was interesting because not only is he a safety, which is not a premium position, the 40 time, right? People got a little crazy about the 40 time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you feel, man? Here we are. This is one of the biggest resets at a position we've ever seen. And I'm guessing you have to feel somewhat validated, but just generally, what do you reflect upon and what comes to mind for you right now?
So I go back to what we talked about yesterday with some of the roster cuts. And we talked about lessons from some of those guys. And what always makes the eval process hard is for every Kyle Hamilton, there's probably 5 Isaiah Simmonses who was cut this week as a former top 10 draft choice, as a big safety defensive weapon at the college level with freakish height, weight, speed, length, athleticism. I just saw a guy on tape that had elite instincts, rare size, and went to a place that had a plan for him. And the plan year over year for Kyle Hamilton looks a little different. It looked a little different in the first half of the year versus the second half of the year last year for Kyle Hamilton, as far as the plan and the implementation, the utilization. I'm really proud of myself through that process for the player that I watched at Notre Dame and the conviction that I had. And it's like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to budge off 5/100ths of a 40 time. And then remember, he had his rookie season. They had the open like family night training camp practice, and he's covering number 3 strong in off man, 12 yards off the ball, and he gets burned on a corner route, and everybody lost their. He can't even run. They said he can't even run. Like, you show me the amount of times he's going to play 15 yards off in off man coverage against a number 3 wide receiver. And if Baltimore does that, then shame on him. They deserve to not have it work out.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they didn't do that.
Do you remember? Surely you remember. That's a stupid way to start this question. We talked to Ozzie Newsome.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I remember. I have that picture right here on my desk.
Right. Unbelievable moment. Well, that was one of our questions. Like, we straight up asked him, like, Kyle Hamilton, was it 14th pick or something like that?
Yep, 14th overall.
I'm pretty sure he said, yeah, I don't know how he was there either. You know what I mean? Like, he was very like, yeah. Sometimes they make it easy on me. It was a great moment, but obviously a really cool story and identity piece of what Baltimore is and what they are is one of the best teams in the National Football League, and the roster that we graded as the best, right? They were comfortably the best roster that we scored over the summer. And so with that comes challenges, right? Really good challenges with lots of good players that you have to pay. And they get Kyle Hamilton done, but there's a lot of other guys that are unrestricted free agents after this season, and even some bigger picture stuff to get into. So we're talking about the path forward for Baltimore. Who's next here on the other side of it, folks? Be sure to stick with us. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. The preseason's behind us. College football is here. So whether you've got your eye on a big name quarterback or a breakout running back, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. I've been using Prize Picks for a few seasons now, and I love how simple it is. I can get a lineup in before my coffee finishes brewing. But remember, you got to throw out the K-Cup. Don't leave that thing in the Keurig. That pisses me off. Prize Picks puts their members first. I love this. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. So check it out. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Prize Picks. Run your game. We have an important request. Locked On wants to hear from you. We put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't, and answer some questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. There's a link in today's show notes. If you're on YouTube, there's a QR code on your screen. Check it out, folks. We appreciate you taking the time to help us out.
Can I read you my favorite quote from DeCosta yesterday on Kyle Hamilton?
Please do.
As we get ready to transition. I think one of the things that you love about Kyle is he's kind of a unicorn. He can do many different things. He does them all very well. He can be used in a lot of different positions. We've had to move him around quite a bit. I wouldn't say that really the improvement of our defense last season was strictly tied to Kyle, but he made it easier for us to put players in different positions. I think our coaches did a phenomenal job last year of making adjustments, and I think guys get stepped up. I think you'll see that continue as we get in the regular season this year as well. And that's you talk about math changers. You talk about force multipliers and those two concepts. Math changers are guys in our eyes who change the distribution, how you can go about solving problems and changing the distribution of players on the field to take away what somebody does really well or do what you do really well in a way that's going to create problems for other teams that they might not have answers for because they don't have the people to match it. And then force multipliers are players that make the players around them better. And the fact that Hamilton is both of those things. And that's what DeCosta's quote there says to me, where he's a math changer because you can use him in a lot of different positions and you do move him around. But then the improvement of our defense, he made it a lot easier for us to put players in different positions. That's where you become a force multiplier and make your teammates better as well. And that's why you get paid like a marquee outside corner as a box safety that ran 4.6.
So Kyle Hamilton's done. That's a big box to check.
Yep.
But let's take a look ahead to the 2026 unrestricted free agent class for the Baltimore Ravens. It includes Travis Jones, Tyler Linderbaum, Odafe Oweh, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews, not to mention Kyle Van Noy, Ardarius Washington, Chidobe Awuzie, starting guard Daniel Falele, and Charlie Kolar. There's more to get to in terms of decisions, but right now, that's what they're staring at. That's a lot of very good football players. And what's interesting, you got some non-premium positions here as well, and guys that could potentially really push those markets. What are your thoughts on DeCosta and managing these decisions and where the priorities are, and what decisions have Baltimore made with their abundance of draft picks that maybe give us some clues about where some of these decisions could go?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. They are constantly reloading the edge. They have traditionally not been a team that's paid edge guys. I think if Odafe Oweh has a season this year similar to the one he had last year, which was kind of considered the breakout season, and he's added another 15, 20 pounds this year to play more stout and be more consistent in close quarters, I don't think there's any way they pay him.
I 100% agree with you. That's the history of Baltimore, is that they don't pay edge rushers, and they just drafted Mike Green, who
Washington, Adisa Isaac. Those are third, fourth round picks, and Mike Green was a second round pick.
They'll probably invest another top 3 round pick next year in an edge rusher, but I think this is get everything you can out of Odafe. And thanks for everything. We'll enjoy a third-round compensatory pick.
That's right, because he's going to, if he has another year like he did last year, he's going to sign somewhere for, probably inflation matching Josh Sweat at worst.
That was exactly the deal in my head. So he got 18 per, I would guess 20-ish.
Yeah. So maybe that might be a 4, but if the market gets hot, I could see, 23, 24, maybe that qualifies as a third-round compensatory pick.
For sure.
I think Kyle Van Noy would be an easier one to get something done with because you have the chance to, he's a vet. So I think that your math's very different there for Van Noy. And if you don't want to flush the entire edge room down in 1 year and get rid of both of your top contributors, I think Van Noy would be an easier one for them to figure something out with, especially because he's had opportunities in other places and has not had the success he's had in Baltimore.
Well, yeah, he's one of those guys that he's just best with Baltimore. Had a career high 9 sacks in his first year in Baltimore in 2023. And then at age 33 in 2024, he's 12 and a half.
He's good, man.
And well, he turned 34 in March. So we're talking about his age 35 season next year.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be overly pricey. I mean, if that's one of those deals where Van Noy's probably not going to go play somewhere else.
Right.
So you can have some
I
value.
play for 7-8 million would be like a guess on my head for like where you could get him on a 1-year deal.
Yeah. I mean, ageless, dude. He played 60% of snaps last year. He's always played a lot. Actually, 60% of snaps is low for him. Yeah. He's been a 70 to 90%, a lot of 80, 90% seasons. So yeah, I think if they want him back, they can. Baltimore could win the Super Bowl and Kyle Van Noy could ride off into the sunset, right? That would be it.
So let's look at some of the other names that you mentioned. They're already paying Nnamdi Madubuike at defensive tackle.
Yep.
I would be surprised if they pay Travis Jones what I think Travis Jones is capable of getting on the open market. When you think about what did Tershawn Wharton get? And that's different stylistic players, but just using that as an example of a player and what that player's resume was and then what that player got in free agency.
He got 15 per, man.
Travis Jones is getting at least 20.
I'd think so. Yeah, I mean, you got Kenny Clark at 21.3. Deron Payne's 22.5.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence is going to get a new deal. He's at 22. That's not going to work for him. Yeah, bump that guy up a lot. Yeah, this is 20. I think this is 2025.
It's a $20 million a year player, I think, on the open market when you take in cap inflation plus open market surcharge tax, which is usually another 20, 30%, right? Like, I think he's at least a $20 million a year player, at worst 18. So I don't think Travis Jones, I don't think Odafe Oweh are going to be in the mix for them. I think they will continue to churn interior offensive lineman not named Tyler Linderbaum. So Fa'alele, I think, was a starter last year, starter this year. They drafted Emory Jones, who looks like he might have a redshirt year. Like he's missed the entire offseason program with a shoulder. I would expect he's going to be a part of their pipeline and future moving forward. That's what they did with Zeitler and Andrew Voorhees stepping into that spot. Yeah. And then Voorhees got banged up last year and they kind of shuffled things around and put Rosengarten in at right tackle. And Macari never gave the job back. And then Voorhees wanted again this year. I just think they're going to continue to
churn those guards,
churn the guys at guards because you've got force multipliers at running back and at quarterback in the run game.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Fa'alele's probably a let walk guy, but I mean, Linderbaum's special, right? That's a special center. And we just saw Creed Humphrey get 18 per. I mean, obviously I think he's going to
done before the season. They should hope to do that.
Right. If not, well, I mean, right now I think he's at least got to get the Creed Humphrey deal. If they wait, it's more than the Creed Humphrey deal because there's inflation and the cap's going to go up.
It's probably 20.
I think so.
So you're talking Hamilton 25, Linderbaum 20, Lamar Jackson potentially getting renewed. You've got one of the tight ends. I'd expect Isaiah Likely will be the one that gets paid because he's the younger player. I think he's more prolific player against man coverage than what Mark Andrews is. So you got a little bit more great age to gracefully work through with him. This is a lot, but I think one thing that really stands out to me, why don't we get into it after the break? I have a new talking point to get into about Baltimore, where they're at right now and what their negotiations, because DeCosta said yesterday, both Lamar and Linderbaum are negotiations that are ongoing.
Hmm.
And Linderbaum especially, they turned down the 5th-year option. So they've kind of telegraphed their hand here that you're either going to franchise tag him and pay him more than what the 5th-year option was going to be, or you're going to get a contract extension done. So why don't we get into that after the break?
Stick with us. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Regiet Ready. Regiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Regiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Regiet might be the answer. In fact, over 150,000 men have already made the switch. Head to Regiet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's Regiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Regiet website for full safety information. Folks, the NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Check this out right now. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And I love using FanDuel. I love to check every morning which profit boosts are available. There's oftentimes a 20-30% boost on a same-game parlay. Maybe there's an event, a golf tournament, or something like that you can get in on, and there's some boosts for that. And there's so many different ways that you can bet, whether it's spreads, over-unders for point totals, player props, live bets. It's all there, and it really just adds so much excitement to watching games. I love watching sports, but it's even more thrilling when you have some bets. So check it out. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place that first $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app.
Okay, Joe Marino, we are to talk about one of my favorite subplots that's come up in the last year or so. You know which one I'm referring to?
No.
Cash spending.
Oh, yeah. This has been a thing here.
So, do you remember Eric DeCosta did that symposium with Adam Brenneman and talked about some of their team management stuff? Do you remember the range he said where they want to try to sit in cash spending on any given season?
I don't remember specifics.
It's like we want to spend cash over cap every year, but we want to do so at a rate that ranks somewhere between 8th and 12th in the NFL in any given year. We want to give ourselves a competitive chance to keep up with the Joneses, but not do so in a way like the Atlanta Falcons this year, spending $370 million in cash and being number one in the league by $30 million over the next best team and $40 million over the 5th highest team, right? There's a sustainability element of cash over cap. So they want to rank on an annual basis per Eric DeCosta. I think it was a year and a half ago when he had this sit-down hour-long interview with Brenneman. I probably watched it 8 times. Want to rank between 8th and 12th. Do you know where they rank right now in the NFL in cash spending? Now that every team has been cut to 53 players?
10th.
Joe, they ranked 22nd.
Oh.
$271 million. Now, Kyle Hamilton just got a raise, and this is not reflected in that. So 271. Do you know what Kyle Hamilton got at signing?
What do you mean, guaranteed at signing, or
no, just like signing bonus? Was there a reported signing bonus?
Yeah, I have it. Let me check my notes. I wrote this down. No, I had the guaranteed. I don't have it in front of me.
So I know the.
Please hold. It doesn't take long.
I was going to say, do you want to just use the difference between his annual average and his base salary this year?
Signing bonus is not available. Sorry.
What was he scheduled to make this year?
It's SpotRec has it all updated to the new thing. I don't have that archived.
You are lying to me, Kyle. It's Kyle Hamilton.
Okay, it's updated, so it's with estimates. Telling you. Oh, it's 2025.
His base salary is $2.9 million.
Okay.
So you want to say $23 million raise? Say you got $25 million is like the signing bonus, and like that's the annual average. Let's just use that as the placeholder.
Sure.
So you got a $23 million raise. So you got to add $23 million to what they're spending right now. That will put them at 294. Where would that rank amongst NFL teams?
Higher on the list. I don't know. 12?
Yeah. It would. It would take him to 17th.
All right.
Tyler Linderbaum. In the last year of his contract, Tyler Linderbaum, let's say he signs, you want to call it 20? Let's say, is that a safe number for him?
Yes. Yes.
So Tyler Linderbaum currently is scheduled to get in salary on the 4th year of his rookie contract 2.5. So now you're talking another $17.5 million added on top of what we're adding for Kyle Hamilton. And that is 311. That would put them 7th in the NFL in cash spend.
So you just broke the news that Tyler Linderbaum's contract is going to be done here very soon.
The way that their cash spend situation was before versus what DeCosta has historically told us they want to do versus using the round numbers math of annual average that we could expect for Tyler Linderbaum on top of the Kyle Hamilton news. They have left this in their budget to put themselves into what their preferred strike zone is to contend on an annual basis. And the Lamar Jackson ones, like, he's not getting small cash, right? So if he gets a new deal, it's more guarantees, maybe incremental pay raises. Lamar's due for 42.75 this year in cash. So if he gets a new contract, next year he's due for 52. Like, maybe the spike comes next year and it's, hey, we're just going to give you maybe a smaller increase this year and then we'll give you a larger increase next year and then there'll be more guarantees. This is very feasible for them, I think, to get both of these contracts done and still stay exactly within what their openly, publicly stated preferred strike zone is by their general manager.
What's the urgency on a Lamar deal? He signed through 2027. He's paid, his AAV is reasonable. It's $52 million for a deal that was signed in 2020. The start year of the deal was 2023. Like, does this have to get done right now?
Lamar would like to get it done.
I'm sure he would, but he's also got 3 years left on his deal.
So it'll be
he's not severely underpaid
after this year, right? I don't know. He signed his contract and he won MVP once. He had a very firm argument to win it twice. He's shown additional growth as a player. There's been the increase in the cap. If you're planning on doing it, and it's one of those things that we talk about all the time. If you know you're going to do it, if you wait, the longer you wait, the more the price is going to go up. What happens the next time who would be the person that tops Dak Prescott?
CJ Stroud.
What happens if CJ gets 61? What does Lamar ask for then?
So you're wanting to get ahead of these things?
You just, if the player wants to do it, and it's not unheard of that what his guarantees are, he has $29 million in guarantees for 2026, and that is it. Beyond this year for guarantees in his contract. That multiple year runway of top of market dollar guarantees is a big thing for players. I also don't know where Lamar ranks in cash this year amongst NFL quarterbacks. Do you? I can pull it up if you want to talk about something.
No, I just wonder why the urgency.
He ranks 8th amongst NFL quarterbacks this year in cash for 2025, including behind names like Deshaun Watson.
I just don't see a severely underpaid player, and I have 3 years left on his deal. Josh Allen is getting paid $1 more million per year than Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen this year is receiving $16 million more in actual cash this year, not the average of the deal.
Right, but that normalizes
I'm just telling you the player standpoint. And remember, Lamar reps himself, right? Like him and his mom are the representation that worked with Baltimore last time, and it got really contentious. So maybe this is just, we want to get ahead of this process so that they have a no tag clause in the contract. So we want to give ourselves ample runway here to get this where it needs to be so everybody's happy about it, because we were thinking we were going to have to move on. Like DeCosta said, like Lamar texted him like the day of the draft and was like, yeah, I'll take your offer. And that was it. Like he was not.
So there's a lot of uniqueness to Lamar in the negotiations. And so being mindful of that is
being proactive and getting out in front of it. And if you can get it done and not have to worry about it at the expense of a couple more years in guaranteed money and incremental cash pay raises this year and probably next year, and so be it.
Well, he's coming off his best year.
And that's even more motivation for Lamar to do it, right? Like,
the only other thing that we haven't really touched on is this Zay Flowers situation where his fifth-year decision is due after the season. And we don't have those exact numbers, but it would be at least $24 million for 2027, right? Is that what year that would go?
Yeah.
That was the one-time Pro Bowl rate for this year's wide receivers. And we know that Zay Flowers was an original Pro Bowl selection. Or it's actually, 21.4 for one Pro Bowl. If he makes another one, it would be 24, but those numbers will go up because the receiver market has gone up. So that's another big one. And I wonder if they go ahead and do it, or if they think to themselves, there's probably a lot more value in us just doing a long-term deal. But it feels like Zay Flowers has been the type of answer they've needed at receiver, right? You kind of remember before he got there, it was just a lot of different names all the time. And I think he's been a stabilizing player. I'd want to continue that with Lamar Jackson, but that won't be a cheap one either.
So, and here's another piece of the Lamar puzzle too, that ties into future decisions like that. His cap charge for the next 2 years after this year is $74.5 million.
So you get some flexibility with that.
Yeah, you get some flexibility. Now, you say that, and Baltimore right now has $48 million in cap space for 2026 anyway, despite having Lamar on the books for 74.5.
Yeah, but I think they only have like 37 players under contract, right?
That's right. And the Kyle Hamilton thing is not reflected, and the Tyler Linderbaum contract obviously needs to be reflected. And we're talking about Van Noy on a 1-year deal and potentially Travis. So like it'll change, but they do need to be strategic as far as I would probably just take the 5th-year option and then
get a deal done.
And then not feel the pressure to get a deal done. Because I think
you have carry that number though.
Well, it's if you get Lamar extended, and if you can, now you're going to have restructure potential with a big dollar amount in Kyle Hamilton, and you'll have potential restructurability or an exit ramp off of Marlon Humphrey, because you're talking 2 years from now as a guy that's going to be in his age 30 season. Like you can kind of pivot there, and you got Nate Wiggins, and it looks like he's going to be a really good player for you. So it's just that constant juggle of how many big contracts can we carry and how long can we overlap them for. And cyclically, I think the Ravens do themselves a great service because DeCosta always drafts for volume. So they have all these extra guys in the pipe and in the queue. And if you got to let a guy walk, you got a guy that's been there for 2 years and you know if he can play or not. And if he can play, then you put him in. And if he can't, then you got to go find somebody.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us here today on the show. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino, we appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. Keep it locked in right here, Locked On NFL Scouting. We'll come back, see you all again tomorrow for Takes on Takes.